Pray that you're all okay. Keith K.L. Belvin here. I'm actually on multiple streams at the time. I believe Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I'm missing one. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. I forget what other. I think I'm on like 4 or 5, but I hope that you're having a wonderful afternoon. So, with that said, if you post a comment or something and I can't see it, don't think that I'm ignoring you just to ignore you. I'm not. Um, I normally don't get on this late in the afternoon. Um, for me, it's normally early in the morning or late in the evening. But I wanted to share this because in talking to one of my coaches today, I realized that I need to take a little break because I have been pressing and pushing myself very hard the last couple of months. I took a last month or so. I took a break towards the end of December to end the year and to get ready for the beginning of the year. But since the first of the year, I have been really going hard in terms of trying to put work together. And in doing so, started to it's starting to not be fun because it seems like it's all work. But you say, what does that have to do with anything, Keith? Well, let's do this. Let me start this off the right way. Good afternoon. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, educator, and depending on what platform that you have seen me on, I am a therapist, Christian counselor. I'm a person that likes to help other people. And what I have found in doing so, it opens up the door for me to learn more about other people, but more importantly, I learn about myself. And the one thing that I work very hard on is to not be a hypocrite, is to try to take in as much as I am helping others to learn for myself so I can address the areas within myself. So that's the point of today's message, which I'm not going to be on that long. I'm really not. I got a bowling tournament tomorrow, and I want to get some rest later on, and I just want to hang out with the family later. So the title is What's Uncovered When You Help Others? And as a person who is a mental health clinician, a person who works with couples, I work with individuals, I work with children, and I mostly work with women between the ages of 35 and 70, more 40 to 70, but I do work with women. I do work with some men because some men need help. So recently, I've noticed that I've been helping men who've been having issues with their daughters. And this is touching to me because I am a person that has 3 daughters. Now, wait before you celebrate. Because of the way that I lived my life before I got myself together, my relationship with my older daughters is not the best. And I have to live with that. I do have a 7-year-old daughter who she's getting the benefit of the more mature me. But in having in dealing with a session today and helping out a friend the other day, and helping these brothers with their daughters, it allowed me to start thinking about my own. So this is what I want to share with anybody watching, especially to the men and to the ladies. First of all, to the ladies, I know y'all have had to deal with a lot of negative men. I want to apologize for them. Yes, I do. I want to apologize for them. And the reason why is because many of us men were never taught how to be real men. We weren't. We didn't have quality examples. And in many cases, we didn't even have a father in the house. Now, that's not an excuse that explains away everything, but it is reality for many of us. And what it does explain is the negative influence that came from that. But I will make this about me because if this is your first time seeing me, understand that I am transparent. I have nothing to run from. So I have 7 children with 6 different women. And if you want to tune out now, go right ahead. I just told you I was a very nasty individual. I started early when I was 12, had my first child when I was 14 and 15 years old, and I've had my most recent 7 years ago. That's a very large space of time. But for 37 years, I lived my life the way I wanted to, and you pay a price for that. The last 17 years, I've spent trying to help others, be a good father, and try to be a solid man of God. But you don't get to just wipe away what you were before you changed your life. You don't have to live that life. You don't get to wipe it away. And some of that damage cannot be repaired. You want to repair it. You hope to repair it. You offer. Doesn't mean that it will be. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with the seeds that you planted years ago coming back to being the vines that actually wrap around your throat. You have to deal with it. My oldest of the three daughters, 32. The second oldest is 25, excuse me. And then the youngest is 7. So I'm going to walk you through some things just to make it clear, because like I said, I'm going to be transparent. My oldest daughter, her mother and I didn't have that type of relationship. It wasn't that. And I will not speak negative about any of the mothers of my children. There's no benefit to that, and it would be insulting to them and the children. So I don't do that. I also try to convince men to not do that either. I don't care what the relationship was between you and the moms. You weren't saying that when you was up in it. So don't be disrespectful now. Work on you. So in the 32 years that my daughter's been on this planet, we have not had the best relationship. Have I apologized? Often. And I have found, and this is for the men that may watch, and ladies, you can share this with the men. What I have found is that it is not on you once you say I'm sorry. It is not on you, because you can't do anything else once you have apologized. It is on the person that you hurt if they want to have a relationship with you, especially if you have forfeited that relationship because of your behavior. So unfortunately, all I can do, like the prodigal son, is wait to see if my daughter will return and wants to have a relationship with me and allows me to have a relationship with my grandchild. But there's nothing I can do. And with that said, I pray for all my kids every night. But one of the things that I have found in helping other men with their children, it grants me hope that at some point before I close my eyes, I will be able to have that relationship with my daughter that I would love to have. Am I sad and sorry about the things that I did before? Of course. Do I wish it was something different? Of course. But you have to accept the dirt that you put into the water. You have to accept that. A lot of men don't. A lot of men think because they're different now that everything should be better from before. It doesn't work that way. And ladies, if I'm wrong, put it in the chat. Help the brothers out. It doesn't work that way, right? Just because you're better now doesn't mean that everything goes away. It doesn't. And it doesn't mean that your pain that you suffered with the father goes away either. So my daughter has her space. My second to oldest daughter, unfortunately, her mother never wanted to own the fact that I was the child's father because it would have put her in a very bad spot. I'm not going to give all the nasty seated details simply because there's a lot of things not put on the table, and for me to out her would be wrong. Just know that she never wanted to accept that I was the child's father, and so when my daughter found out, she was torn because the person that she thought was her father wasn't, and then she also didn't like the fact that I wasn't a part of her life, but there was no way for me to be able to have a conversation with her to explain that I was on the outside looking in because I wasn't allowed in. So again, I have not been able to have that conversation. And I don't say all this for you to feel bad for me. Nope, not at all. It's just the reality. And again, I pray for her as well. And then there's my youngest. My youngest, who I try to pour in all the knowledge that I have learned from the mistakes that I have made to try to guide her away from anybody that is like I used to be. And so to anybody watching, and I'm a man of faith, and if you want to question that, that's okay too. If you want to say, oh, now you're a man of God, yeah, that's the reality. Yes, now I'm a man of God. I wasn't before. I said it was about me. And that's why I became a therapist. was because I know what I went through, what I'm still going through in terms of dealing with the nasty things that I've done. So yeah, I know how to help other people because I had to get myself there. And I also can hear and see the mistakes that a lot of men and women are making by being trapped in the past. One of the things that I do in my counseling sessions is we will go back into the past for information, not emotion. You don't need to bring any more emotion to the present. And I do three-dimensional thinking. Let me explain to you how that works. I think and we go over the past, one dimension. We deal with the present, second dimension, and we look at the effects on the future, third. And we together figure out how we can take that information from what was behind us, mix it into whatever we're going to do right now, so we can plant seeds that later on in the future it will be better. And that has to come with a personal honesty. So one of the reasons why I'm transparent is because I can't work with folks and ask them to be and I'm not. It was a hard path to be me. If you can see over my shoulder, you can see the degrees on the wall, right? That just means I have alphabet behind my name. In some circles, that makes me important. None of that mattered when you were out on the street doing something nasty and negative. And that's the one thing that you got to understand. A person changes. That doesn't mean that the ripples of the effects of what they did will change right away. Often they don't. And whoever's watching me today, I wanted to do this because, like I said, I'm taking some time just to relax and figure out how I want to continue on social media. I'm not giving up social media. I just have to figure out how I want to continue. But I needed to take some time away just to be able to think. But like I said, I got through a session and it made me start thinking. And I use, like I said, my personal life. I know a lot of other therapists don't. I know a lot of other therapists distance themselves from anything personal. And I get it. I understand. And I don't cross any ethical lines either. But when I was in the classroom, I found that personal transparency allowed me to connect with students in a way that allowed them to understand why and how I need them to learn. And yes, it pissed a lot of people off. And yes, some people got very upset in how I worked with kids. How y'all like my new water bottle, by the way? Yeah, I'm almost there. Excuse me. So a lot of people, a lot of educators got upset because they just felt that my personal relationship with the kids put them in a bad spot. I can't worry about that. And I go through that with some fellow therapists as well. Some fellow therapists think my style is not professional. Okay, you're entitled, but you can't argue with the effects. You can't argue with the outcomes. I help people get better. And in helping people get better, I am getting better. And as a Christian, that's what I do. And I have never shied away from that. That I am a man of God, that I am a Christian. Do I protect my faith? About the biggest projection is going to be this cross around my neck. But I'm not going to push my faith on anybody. But my faith is what anchors me. And yes, I'm a Christian counselor as well. So I'm a Christian therapist. Because I believe that the therapeutic part matches the spiritual part and they should be combined. But that's me. So what's the point of all this? The point of all this is that it is what we uncover when we're helping others. It is what we learn about ourselves when helping others. So the biggest question should be, are you helping anybody? Are you actually serving anyone? Sometimes our pain causes us not to want to be bothered with anybody, and that's the worst thing you can do, because in that closed arena, that closed closet, you will harm yourself something awful. And if I'm wrong, tell me. Put it in the chat. Has anybody ever gotten better just trying to deal with it alone? Be honest with me. Put a 1 in the chat if you're that person. If you're like, yes, it got much better for me just being alone. But if you're a person who knows that dealing with people who cared having somebody who reached out to you, having somebody who held you up was the difference, put a 2 in the chat. If needing somebody in your life is the thing that helped you hold on, put a 2 in the chat. Because there is no 100% right way. And this was just what was on my spirit today. Like I said, I'm taking a break anyway. But I can honestly tell you, any man, and I may piss some dudes off with this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Any man who has convinced himself that it is okay not to care about your children, regardless of whether you're with the mom or not, you have actually said it is okay to hate yourself. Now, you might not be able to fix the relationship with your children, but if you have convinced yourself that it is okay not to care, you have created a situation where you are hating yourself. Now, if you're a person that still has hope that things can get better, I feel you. Read the Prodigal Son in the Bible. You'll understand where I'm coming from. Because sometimes we have to be okay with waiting for our children to figure it out. Now, I'll give you another transparent moment. My father and I did not reconnect until I was 39 years old. And I reached out to him. I wanted to repair the relationship with him. In the last 15 years, we've been good because he was able to accept my offer. I write about it in my book, From Gigolo to Jesus. Because I needed him more at 39 than I did at 19. 19, I would not have heard him. 19, we would have fought. 19, we'd have been scuffling and scrapping because there was no way I was listening to any man at 19. I was a wild animal at 19. And the only things I thought about was sports and sex, and not in that order. There was no way I was going to listen to any man. I barely listened to my mother and grandmother. But at 39, I was for man. At 39, I needed some guidance on how to be the new me. How do I be the dad that I'm trying to be? How do I be the man of God that I'm trying to be? So I needed my father more at 39. So God led me to fix the relationship. And here's the best thing. When my father says, I'm so glad that you reached out. He said, I must have read your email 100 times. So to any brothers out there, it's never too late. But if you've convinced yourself that you don't have to care about your children, you are hating yourself. And ladies, you know, I got to say something. You cannot let the pain that man has caused you to stop you from trying. Hear what I said. Trying to help make sure that if he wants to, that he has a relationship with the children or the child. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to see the person who hurt you having a relationship with your child because you want to protect your child. I understand that. But if there's a possibility, if there's a way to co-parent without the drama, you must take that shot. It is for your child, not you. And I know that's a whole big discussion and a whole bigger thing. And like I said, I work mostly with women anyway. And one of the things that I bring to the table when I'm talking to women is a man who's willing to understand and be okay with their pain. I absorb it. Come on, hate me because you hate him. I'm built for that. I'm actually a gigantic, big teddy bear who's an empath. I will absorb that. And then we will figure out a way to get you past that pain. Because us men have done some dirty things to you. We have done some very filthy things and thought it was okay. And then when we created children, we thought it was okay to continue doing dirty things to you and then extended that dirt over to the children. Now, men, don't get it twisted. That don't mean that there's not bad women out there, because there are. There's some women out there that you should have never got pregnant. And they've made your life a living hell. But I want to say this to you as well, men, and don't take it the wrong way, but you got to take it the way it is. Did she show you signs of this before you started humping? Did she show you signs of this when you were humping? And if you answered yes and you still humped her, then that's on you. If your answer was no and all this changed when the baby come, well, then I'm sorry you got sold a lemon, because that happens too. But here's what I believe and here's what I know. We can fix these relationships. That's why I have the hashtag, we can fix this. We can fix these relationships if we can learn how to communicate our pain, and we can communicate how to heal. I believe that, as crazy as it sounds. So I don't know who needed this today. I don't know who, what female, what male, what married couple. I don't know who needed to hear this, and I don't know how many people are going to see this. What I know is that when we work to help others, we uncover the pain that we are dealing with and find ways to let it go. In servicing other people, we can become stronger at who God created us to be. And again, I don't know who needed to hear this. I don't know who's struggling going into this evening, mad or angry at the man that did whatever to him, mad at the woman that did whatever to him, mad at the baby father who ain't getting it, mad at the baby mama who's treating him bad. I don't know. What I do know is that I'm in this fight, and I'm in this mix. And I see people every day, not this weekend, not on the weekends, unless it's an emergency. But this is what I do for a living. Because you want the truth? It's my ministry. Yeah, this is my ministry. I'll let you in on another secret. I secretly pray that the more people that I help, God will forgive me for the things that I did. And have I said I'm sorry to my children? Well, I'll tell you what. Go to my YouTube page, right? Keith KL Belvin on YouTube. Go to my YouTube page. Scroll down. You're going to see a series of videos that says old head versus young head. I had 6 conversations with all of my children. And you will hear me say, I apologize. You have heard me if you don't know anything about me, if this is your first time. I have apologized to all of my children. Unfortunately, one I cannot, because those doors are closed. So all I can do is offer her prayer. But I have asked her through prayer to forgive me. But I have asked all my children to forgive me. And I've had conversations with all of my children. And do I dislike my children? Nope. Do I dislike their mothers? Nope. Do I talk to all of their mothers? No, just my wife. It is what it is. But they can call, and there won't be any disrespect, and I will take the call, and there'll be no yelling and screaming. And do all my children know that they can talk to me? Yep. Do all my children have my number? Yep. Do all my children know that they can call on me if something happens? Yep. Will they? I don't know. I don't know. And again, I don't know who needed to hear this. And if I've stirred something in you, good. Because this is what I do as a therapist. This is what I do. So if you need to talk to someone like me, if you think your husband, boyfriend, baby daddy needs to speak to me, reach out. If you, talking to the ladies now, if you need to speak to me, reach out. My link is in the bio wherever you're seeing me at. If it's on Facebook, it's there. If it's on Instagram, TikTok, is there. If it's on YouTube, it's there. And if you want to see my other videos, go to YouTube. I got a ton of them. I think like 400. And I'm working on a new book and course. You know why? Because I'm going to show you how to make these changes. And it's the same title, From Gigolo to Jesus, 10 Steps to Personal Change, Personal Growth, and Spiritual Transformation. You know why? Because I know what it takes to change your life, to grow personally, to grow spiritually. I know what that takes to face the demons of what you used to be and live with it. And to live with people looking at you in judgment. You nasty. Yeah, I was. How could you be that way? Because I was horrible. You was a horrible father. I was. You was just out here making babies. I did then, but in the last 21 years, I've had one child with one woman. So yeah, I will take all of that abuse, all of that smoke. You know why? Because somebody will reach out to me quietly, like Nicodemus did to Jesus. Can you help me? Yes, I can. Can you help me? Yes, I can. Can you help my child? Yes, I can. I wasn't built to please and fix everyone, but the ones who come and get help, I was built for them. And if that's you, and if you need my help, you may not see me on for the next couple of days, but I'm always reachable. Like I said, my links are in the bio. Just go to the link, click on Discovery Call, fill out the paperwork. It'll ask you a bunch of questions, and it'll set up a Discovery Call. And we can get on a Zoom call and have a conversation. I don't judge. I don't. How can I judge anybody with my history? What I do is I listen. I'm going to be frank with you. I'm going to be direct with you, but I'm going to help you. And you know why? Because some people prayed for me. Some people poured into me. Some people held me up when they didn't have to. And in the end, God rewarded them for helping me and then rewarded me for fixing me. And that just happened today. I had somebody pour into me because they noticed some things that was going on with me in my videos. I didn't even know anybody could see, but she did. And I just poured into somebody this afternoon. I just poured into somebody yesterday and had them say to me, thank you for helping me. Thank you for making yourself accessible to me. No problem. That's how this works. So again, I'm going to get off. And I simply want to say to you, if this is your first time seeing me, thank you. If you're judging me, thank you. If you could care less and go, ain't nobody got time to be listening with that, that's okay. Thank you. The hate is okay too. It's still an emotion. That means I caused something. But at the end of the day, it's not going to change me helping. It's not going to change me being transparent. And if you want to know more about me, go look at my videos. I told you I was a misogynistic pig. I told you I was a cheater. I told you I was a whore. I was everything. And if you've read my memoir, From Gigolo to Jesus, read chapter 3, a whole chapter on abortions and miscarriages with an S. Abortions with an S. Yes. A whole chapter. So when you read From Gigolo to Jesus and you get to chapter 3 and you realize what I really was, you'll understand the work that it took to get here to be like this right now. Because evil is the only word I can think of. Dastardly, despicable, and any other disgusting word that you can think that goes with the man that I was. And I still sometimes wonder, why did God spare me? But then when I help people, and when I see the tears in somebody else's eyes and I shed my own, I kind of get an idea why he spared me. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not shocked, because I shouldn't be here. But I thank God for allowing me to be here. And that's the reason why I don't project my faith, because I don't know what road you've traveled. I know what I traveled. I know what it took for me to get here, to even be comfortable enough to have this conversation. And I couldn't have done it by myself, because I didn't. It took a lot of people, but more importantly, it took a strong-ass woman called my wife to stand in that gap. And then it took God covering both of us, and that was before we were married. So you can't tell me God ain't real, but it's okay if you don't believe it. I know he is, because he blessed me with somebody who was strong enough to deal with my stupid behind. And that's why I pour back into others, because I know there's somebody for somebody else out there, because somebody else needs the assistance like I did. So I hope to become that for a lot of other people, and I've been doing that. And sometimes I have to remind myself. Shout out to Glenn P. Brooks Jr. Shout out to Tarkessa Colvin. Shout out to Brian Groves. These are all people who have poured into me. Shout out to my wife, who have poured into me when sometimes I actually wonder, do I deserve it? And they'll tell me, yeah, I still have to fight with that sometimes, that I don't believe that I deserve it, but I keep doing the work. So if you're watching and you've had doubts, personal doubts, self-doubt, that's why you reach out to me. Go to my link. Set up a call today. Don't be scared to invest in yourself. Don't be scared to set up a counseling session. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. You see it behind me. You see the degrees on the wall. I put that work in. I spent 20 plus years in the classroom, teacher and dean of students. I got 2 master's degrees back there on the wall. And I got them because I knew I was going to need them. And there's 2 other degrees back there too. So I got 4 total. So yeah, that alphabet behind my name because I need it. Because the person that I was without it, Lord, would not get through the doors I get through now. But when I get through those doors, I bring something to the table. And I'm bringing more than just that alphabet behind me. I'm bringing experiences. I'm bringing God with me. Because sometimes when people say, how did you make it? God. Yeah, God. How did you recover? God. How did you get past like the sexual addiction? God. How did you and your wife get past the cheating? God. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. So the new book drops in April. The course will be ready in April. And I'm releasing it regardless. And if nobody buys it and nobody signs up, okay. I'm releasing it regardless. Because the one thing I have faith is that those who it will help will find it. I am Keith, K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, Christian counselor, author, educator, father, husband, and more importantly, man of God. And I want to tell you thank you for taking the time out to listen to me. I hope that you've liked this. I hope that you comment. I'll go back and check all the comments. I hope that you shared this with people that you think need to hear it. And I would love the feedback, even the negative feedback. I want to hear that too. If you want to get on and say, yeah, you fat bastard, don't nobody care about you, that's okay. Come on, bring it. It's a comment. I may not agree with it. I'm a sexy big man, but you know, I'm retired. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. And I want you to understand you are not a mistake. And yes, if somebody hurt you, they hurt you. You don't have to continue to deal with that by yourself. I'm here. Reach out. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and weekend, guys.